This video may end up being a little bit longer than I like. I don't really want anything over 3 or 4 minutes, but I don't know, maybe we can make it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about PixInsight's new process called FastIntegration. Let's dive into it. So a little bit about my system. I am running an M1 Max MacBook Pro. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. I've got 10 CPU cores, 24 GPU cores, although that really doesn't matter in this case, but that's my system. What I'm doing is I ran a data set from an image that I completed. If you're wondering, here's the final image. I'll have a link below to that image in AstroBin, and you are welcome to go over there and pixel peep all you want. This is NGC 7822, the heart of the cosmic question mark nebula, drizzled 2 times with RGB stars. So yeah, the data we're going to look at is just the hydrogen alpha of that data set. I want to show you a couple things. So this is the full weighted batch pre-processing treatment that I would do. So obviously calibrating the lights, I do a full cosmetic correction, registration, local normalization, and integration. And I ran that and wanted to show you just on that channel. Remember, this isn't the whole project. This was a 100-hour project total, so it would have taken way longer. But to process non-drizzled data, drizzle is going to be a whole other thing. It's not going to be any faster with what we're going to see with image integration. So just normal data, no drizzling, took an hour and 37 minutes. So what I wanted to see is how I could work fast integration into my workflow. And here's what I found. So I split it up into a couple steps. First off, in weighted batch pre-processing, all I did was calibration and cosmetic correction. So I just had cosmetically corrected calibrated frames. And that took 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Something to note, amazing how much faster it calibrates your lights when you don't have all this crap like this loaded it into the pipeline. Actually, let's get the correct one up. So if you look at this first 71 light frames took 5 seconds. Up here, it took 2 minutes and 27 seconds. So again, just much more efficient when you don't have all this junk loaded up in your pipeline, eating up all your system resources. So 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Then I went over into fast integration, dumped all the cosmetically corrected and calibrated frames there. Most of this stuff was just set to default. Actually, all of it was just set to default. I did generate drizzle data, which we're going to look at later. And then I sort of tweaked this to make maximum use of what PixInsight thinks is my maximum available memory. Actually, funny enough, this is not correct. I've already showed you I've got 64 gig of RAM, but it's only seeing a little less than 15 gig of that. Turns out PixInsight is actually about to release an update here in the next couple of days that's supposedly going to address that, according to the forums. But for now, I'm stuck with, using less than 15 gig of my available RAM. So I ran that, and the time it took to run fast integration on those 427 frames was 6 minutes and 24 seconds. So I went from an hour and 37 minutes down to 10 minutes, roughly. That is very, very significant. Obviously, it was a little bit more manual as I had to stop after this step, load everything into fast integration and run that. But man, that time saved. I could do this 6 times for hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, red, green, and blue. No problem. So big question though is, it's faster. It was designed to be faster. Yes, it is significantly faster, but how does it look? So this is where it gets a little bit less subjective, but I'll submit to you on the right, we've got the fast integration, and the left we have weighted batch pre-processing. And all I've done to this is a little bit of a crop so I can do things a little faster. Background extraction, and then I ran easy, soft stretch just to kind of get everything into a kind of a non-linear state. And when you look at these two, you can see some differences for sure, but man, just at this level, the quality is the same. Maybe the fast integration in parts of it has a little more contrast. Like down here, there's a little more something there. But then to my eye, sometimes weighted batch pre-processing Old school looks like the darks are darker, but it doesn't matter too much with contrast because you can add or remove that with curves pretty easily. So, to me, that's not really a big deal. If we zoom in a little bit, let's see what we got. Here's some nice details. Let's kind of get this on the other side. Yeah, I'm struggling to see a difference. Again, maybe just a little bit of contrast here and there, but for all practical purposes, this is great. They both look the same. So yeah, I mean, what am I going to pick? Yeah, the one that took 10 minutes, not the one that took 100 minutes. So those are pretty sweet results. I wouldn't expect anything different from the drizzled version. Sure enough, again, at this level, it looks the same. And, let's zoom in a little bit just to look at a little tighter crop. Yeah, I mean, more of the same. Again, to me, I think the weighted batch preprocessing maybe has a little more contrast. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that the weighted batch preprocessing side ran local normalization, and fast integration, part of that workflow is you have to sacrifice local normalization. But even so, again, I can easily add that contrast in when I'm processing with curves. So, yeah, I mean, this is a great result. Fast integration to me is just a really, really nice tool. So, yeah, that's what I got. What do you guys think? Let me know. Catch you in the next one.